Most people box Claude in as a coding assistant, or a fancy chatbot. They're missing roughly 90% of what it does. Claude excels at the hard stuff: structured reasoning, creative synthesis, strategic planning, deep dive research, documentation that doesn't suck, and analysis with actual nuance. It's less a tool and more a thinking partner that scales with the complexity you throw at it. During my 19 years, building enterprise systems, data pipelines, and large-scale AI integrations, I've seen plenty of tools get hyped. Then I put Claude to work on real projects. Not benchmarks. Not check out this cool prompt. Billable work. And it became obvious how most people use Claude and what it's actually capable of live in different universes. Therefore, and in this series on Mastering Claude, I am going to do something very specific. I am going to reverse engineer how Claude actually works, not the marketing version, the real one. Here is the shape of the journey across 30 episodes. We start with foundations, how Claude actually works. The interface. Projects, artifacts, file handling, prompt engineering. 7 episodes that give you a solid base before we touch anything advanced. Then real professional workflows. Claude for project delivery, technical documentation, analysis. The kind of work that saves hours every week across every role in an organization. Then Claude Code, 6 dedicated episodes. This is where the serious productivity gains are for engineers and technical professionals, and it carries significant weight in Anthropic's official certification. Then AI agents and MCP, building systems that run without you. And finally, enterprise architecture, governance, cost management, security, and how all of this fits into a real technology stack. By the end of this series, you will have strong, practical skills in building powerful AI agents and a deep understanding of Claude, one of the most widely adopted AI models in the enterprise world today. And you will have covered the core foundations of the Claude Certified Architect exam, the CCA-F, Anthropic's official certification launched in 2026. It will not replace dedicated exam prep, but it will make you ready for it. One thing worth knowing upfront: the CCA-F badge expires 6 months after passing, and each attempt costs $99. So it requires renewal. I am telling you that now so you can plan for it, not be surprised by it later. There is also a dedicated episode, Episode 7, that maps this entire series to every CCA-F domain so you know exactly where you stand against the exam at any point. That is the series. Now let me show you where it starts. This is Episode 1. And I am not starting with the most advanced feature. I am starting with a question that confuses a lot of users, who begins using Claude seriously. Claude Web or Claude Desktop, what is the difference, and which one should you be using for professional work? The answer is not obvious. And getting it wrong means you are working harder than you need to from day one. Let me show you both, and then I will tell you exactly which one I use and why. This is Claude Web. You access it at claude.ai. No installation. Works on any device with a browser. On the left, your conversation history. In the center, the chat interface. And if you look carefully, the projects panel in the sidebar. We come back to projects in Episode 2. For now, just notice it is there. Let me type something. Good response. Appropriate for the audience I specified. Notice it did not give me 5 paragraphs, because I asked for 2 sentences. The constraint worked. Now here is what many people miss. That response just went into the conversation history. If I close this tab and come back tomorrow, it is still there, yes. But Claude remembers nothing about the context. Next conversation, blank slate. That changes completely when you use projects. But that is Episode 2. Let's check the desktop version now. This is Claude Desktop. A native application, available for Mac and Windows. Same Claude underneath. Different experience on top. What is different here? 3 things that matter for professional work. First, it sits in your taskbar. You call it up with a keyboard shortcut without switching browser tabs. For people who use Claude constantly throughout the working day, and that is increasingly where enterprise users land, that friction reduction is real. Second, and many Claude users are not using it. Claude Desktop supports MCP. Model Context Protocol. The ability to connect Claude directly to external tools, local files, databases, and services. We cover MCP in depth in Episodes 20 and 21. But the point is, that capability exists in desktop in a way that web does not match. Third, working with local files without uploading them. Desktop handles this more cleanly than the browser. Known issue worth mentioning, Claude Desktop is newer than the web app. Some features that are stable in web are still being refined in desktop. If something behaves unexpectedly, try it in web first. That is not a workaround, that is just practical sequencing. Guys, as I mentioned at the start of the video, Claude is not just a coding tool or another chatbot. It is a much broader AI platform that can help almost anyone. That is why I have designed this series such that the first 12 episodes are meant for everyone to understand what AI can actually do in real-world work, while the later episodes will go deeper into technical and enterprise-level topics. And one of the biggest confusion is usually, what exactly should we learn? This series is designed to answer that in a practical and structured way. One important thing before we finish. Everything I am showing in this series, I am working on a personal device with personal credentials. If you are planning to use Claude for official work, stop and check your company's AI usage policy first. Authentication controls, data classification, what you are and are not allowed to upload, these are not optional. A personal Claude account and a corporate licensed Claude deployment are two very different things from a security and compliance standpoint. Know which one you are working with before you start. We have a full episode on this, episode 12, but I want you to know it from episode 1. Next is, episode 2, we go deep into projects. System prompts, context files, how to structure a project for real ongoing work, and the one mistake many people make with their system prompt that quietly degrades every response they get. See you in episode 2.